Ciao. Okay. Um, Here we go. Hi, I'm host Eric, and welcome to Talking with Famous People. Host Zachary and I were messing around with a little music project when we had a surprise. Shouldn't have been a surprise to me because it was preordained. Actually, earlier we talked about it in the comments, but we have a guest here, a famous person. Do not tell me your name again, Sarah. Famous person, Sarah.
Hi guys,
Very,
ENTP.
very
What's going
pleased to
on?
meet you. Female ENTP,
Yep.
rare type.
Rare. Yeah, we make up 3% of the population apparently, according to the Myers-Briggs test. But
I've heard 4% for males, 2% for females. So that's why it's
well,
three
there you go.
average. There you go. Yeah. My daughter's a female ENTP, so I I have some familiarity with the type, but I think she's turned out a little bit warped with a male ENTP father who's a debate coach. I don't think she's been able to exercise her full disruption like she wants to. So
Now she's Delilah, right?
she is Delilah.
Oh, okay, okay. I've seen her in a couple of your videos. Sweet girl, sweet girl. How old is Delilah?
17.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
she's still in high school.
she is. She's a senior.
Oh, okay.
You mentioned you have a YouTube
And then,
channel. I'm going to be the socially awkward one here and can see that I have not seen anything of yours. I don't know what kind of stuff you do. But that makes it more interesting to me for me to ask you about it. Tell me about it. What do you make videos about?
who, me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah.
Wait, what about, what do you want to know though? What do you want to know?
Well, okay. I'll be more narrow in in my questioning. Do you have a specific topic that you focus on?
I have a couple. The thing is with me, I'm kind of random, so I didn't like write anything down. Whatever I do bring up, it's usually like what's at the top of my head. Which lately it's been about societal issues and basically being an ENTP female in this messed up world. Like, Eric, what's going on? So I think my thing is really how have you dealt with people that, don't have the same thinking process as we do, but I know that I can sometimes come off a little cold or insensitive to people's feelings, but that's not always necessarily true. The thing with me is I tell people really what they need to hear, not necessarily what they want to hear all the time, and that can be a little bit, um, you know, annoying to some, but they get over it. They're fine. They live through it.
But
But how do you deal?
you're supposed to be soft and affirming because you're a woman. Is
Right?
that what you face? Is that what you have to face?
Yeah, not so much. Hey, not
Not
so
really.
much. It's more I mean, I guess that could be part of it, but I mean, you know how people are these days. They're not, they don't use critical thought as much as they should or would have if it
What
wasn't
societal
for
issues are you primarily interested in?
a what?
What societal issues are you primarily interested in?
Um, I think it's pretty much the people versus corruption of government and what that's done to the people over time. Like we could talk about, let's say, the dumbing down of society to from the toxins and chemicals and foods and all the processed foods and whatnot. If you know what I'm talking about. I don't know if you're like that into,
I'm
you know,
unfamiliar.
well, there's just basically been done, a lot done to society, basically to dumb people down. And I mean, it's just more of like people's lack of awareness and consciousness really these days. People are so in tune to their media, their phones, technology that a lot of people, I think you understand, like our generation especially, like we don't really communicate as much as we should. It's
I
more because
suppose.
we just
Wait,
have a lot of
how old are you again?
hmm?
How old are you?
I'm 20.
You're 20? Alright, so
Mhm.
you're about my generation almost.
Oh yeah, we're the millennials. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
What
I
are you?
guess huh?
Did you take the Myers and Briggs?
I'm an INTP, I believe.
Oh, okay. I could get that from him because he's introverted.
Well, I've talked to him a lot. I'm pretty convinced he's not INTP. Um, the thing I'm interested in, you talk about people and government, and well, I don't want to necessarily get into the diet stuff. I think we probably disagree on that. I have my own particular opinions about diet, which tend to cause conflict sometimes. But regarding the government thing, I'm interested in hearing more about the manners in which you think government is not being successful in doing what it ought to do, or doing stuff it ought not to do.
Oh, well, government's in place to protect what we, the people, have, which is the Constitution and our rights. But that's been trampled over, and what's going on nowadays is we have a lot of corruption in government where we have secular progressives that are pushing their agenda. I don't want to get into like this political thing about it, but
I do.
Let's
I
get
think
into it.
what I'm getting
I
at,
do
I
too.
do.
getting at is
You're dealing
I
with
think I'm getting
NTs
at
here. It's
well,
fine.
yeah. I mean, I think what I'm really getting at is that people have lost that sense of self-reliance nowadays, and they depend too much on others to take care of them when it's really their own responsibility to take care of themselves. But I'm seeing, especially with my generation, to where a lot of us, we look down on the phones so much. We rarely look up, and we rarely are like taking that first step to go and talk to a stranger, or like go and go out of our way to like meet people. Like, this is amazing what we're doing right now. Like, this is what it's about, making connections and talking to people. And I'm thankful for things like YouTube that are out there for people to really find others that are like-minded and connect.
I agree.
Hmm.
Um, you say there's corruption in government. Do you mean now, corruption can occur in a number of different ways? So you can have
Right.
literal corruption, like I will pay you $1,000 if you let me get away with this crime. Wow. Well, this other person doesn't.
Sorta, yeah. That goes on too.
That there's what you might call corrupting mechanisms as well. That
Mm-hmm.
that are the capacity for closed door stuff, for example, might be considered a corrupting mechanism because it denies the necessary light of transparency as a check or a balance on the exercise of governmental power. So, where
Right.
exactly, can you specify more where the corruption is emerging from, which specific mechanisms, and in what context?
I think it's more. I think it's more like in a general sense. I think it's more just the corruption from like the education system to like what we eat and how we're not really being told things that we need to be told,
Well,
or things
who
that
should
would
tell us
benefit
what?
us as a people.
Who should tell us what?
Well, not that they should, but the only thing is with this thing, for example, on guns and like just all these terrorist attacks. I feel like there's almost an attack to get people to turn in their guns. Like law-abiding gun owners. Like, that's not going to happen. I mean, yeah, that's what's going on in today's world.
Okay,
It's sad.
but
All
here's
the shooting
I agree.
things,
I
but
agree with you about guns for sure. I'm not. I am
that's
a
just an example. But
proponent.
I don't even know where to really begin on like just
The concern. The one thing that I would point out is that I may differ a little bit with you on is there seems to be a focus on intentionality. I don't think government is driven through individual intentionality. So it's like we speak of it as though it were an agent with intention, but that's a reification fallacy. It doesn't actually have
yeah.
intention. But what it does have is mechanisms that are unavoidably exploited by regular individual humans who are subject to the normal set of human foibles, including greed and power hunger and other things like that.
Right. That's more what I'm getting at. Yeah.
So, I mean, personally, I think though things are getting better. I think things are getting better because people are more, just because information is more fluid, and so whenever you have
Yeah, I
information
have
being
to
more
agree with
fluid,
that. Well, because it is the day and age we live in nowadays. Technology is like advancing by the hour, and we have the internet, so we can, get access to a lot of information. And it's really Yeah, it's really up to the people, honestly, at this point, to like really use their own sense of judgment to whatever they hear from the media. For example, I mean, I know Fox has all their stuff, Fox News, and but
Do
I
you
guess it's more.
advocate?
This is a credible source of information. That's where I get all my facts from.
Fox News. Do you have a specific set of policy avenues that you advocate for, or are you
Hey, what are your political ideologies?
advocating against a certain status quo?
Maybe a little bit of both.
Okay. What sort of specific
Identify
policy
those
changes?
words.
What specific policy
Yeah.
changes would you like to see made?
Not that I'd like to see specific policy. I would just like there to not be so much of a focus on others wanting to control other people's lives. I don't want to control anybody, but I don't want you controlling me. You know what I mean? I want to just live my life, and I think that's what needs to happen.
Right.
Don't you think the government should be able to prevent certain individuals from doing what they want, though, to prevent corruption and greed?
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Oh yeah.
But that's different
Totally.
because
I don't vote. I mean, obviously, I'm only 20. Like,
I
I'm not
don't.
barely old enough to vote, but I don't play into their little games. I just don't have time for it. So all I say is get out of the way. Whatever they have planned, let them do it.
well, I mean here's the thing about government is they just the problem with it is that it's a system of it's parasitivism, parasitishness, which is to say, whenever there is wealth being created by actual work, then
Right.
there's going to be some people, unavoidably, who are going to profit off of that without actually doing any work. And that's what
Mhm.
government is it's a set of bureaucracies that require a complementary dependent, namely some poor underclass that has to be helped, or some terrorist threat that has to be defended against, or some other
But it's not
justification.
just some. It's the majority. It's the majority of Americans that like I would consider people who use critic.
But it's not, because these things aren't reflecting Americans' political beliefs. They're not reflecting policies that people want. Like, for example, when I ask you, well, what specific policies are you advocating for? And you told me, well, I'm not really advocating for specific
I'm
policies,
not
but
really advocating for.
I'm advocating against a certain status quo. Well, that's fine. But the point
Well,
is,
then I guess it's advocating for something, but it's
well, it's
it's
advocating
more
for
of.
something different than what we have now. But what I'm saying is this: it the things you don't like don't exist because the average American wills them to be so. They exist because
That's true
they're
too.
sort of just like random fucking like noise from the machine of
No.
politics, you know?
Hmm.
And it keeps making more noise because more noise keeps demanding more money from it. It's like, well, now we got all these fucking
Yeah.
Homeland Security people. They're government employees. Now, well, we can't put them out of a job. We can't have all those unemployed people. Now that we've hired a million fucking people to do a job that requires nobody. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's. Okay, who are you voting for and why, Sarah?
Who's what?
She said she didn't
Who are you
vote.
voting for and
She
why?
doesn't vote, she said.
Oh, you. Oh, you don't vote?
If you had to, who would you vote for?
Yeah.
No one. No one. There's
How do you
literally no
expect
one.
change to happen if you don't participate?
Hey, Sarah,
I mean,
you're
I don't
locked in a
believe they're
room, though.
true leaders. I don't look up to man to lead me. All I need in my life is Jesus Christ. I don't really need anybody to, like I just don't. I mean, sure, I pay attention to what's going on, but it's just I'm not gonna vote for like the lesser evil. It's just not gonna happen with me. Like, and it's not like you have to vote, otherwise you don't care. No, I just
The
if
question I
anything,
have
I
that
care enough not to vote.
let's pretend, Sarah, that you're
Every
locked in
form
a
of
room.
government, then I'll consider it.
Let's pretend you're locked in a room with a limited amount of air in the room, and the
Okay.
only way to open this door to get out is to punch one of the ballot holes next to one of the presidential candidates. Any one of them will work. You can punch Trump. You can punch Hillary Clinton. You can punch Bernie Sanders. You can punch Gary Johnson, the Libertarian candidate. You can punch Cruz. Any one of them will open the door. However, your air is rapidly running out. You got about 2 minutes of air left, and you're going to start suffocating to death. Which one do you punch?
Get back to you on that.
Ay. Boy, that's ENTP right there. Fuck you, I'm not gonna...
Wait, pay attention to do you pay attention to the elections, though? Like, what's going on? Who would you vote for?
Me?
In all seriousness, who would you vote for?
I'm gonna vote for Gary Johnson.
For who?
Gary Johnson, the Libertarian candidate.
Okay, and then what about you, Zach?
Probably
And
Trump.
why? Trump?
On Trump, mostly for foreign policy. I think we should let Russia bomb the shit out of ISIS, and then get the refugees that are currently running to European countries, get them back into their own environment, and help clean it up. That's why I'm voting for Trump.
Like,
but then who was ISIS? I could say we are ISIS because we sell them weapons. You know what I'm saying? Like, we give them weapons. So it's like...
Yeah, we pretty much arm the Syrian rebels. We pretty much caused that entire... We destabilized the whole region.
But
and Trump
arming
voting
them doesn't make us them. We're not enslaving women and throwing and stoning homosexuals to death.
ISIS.
But we're not they, right? Just because we made them, just because we caused them. Look, I cause trash every time I fucking walk into a room. It seems like I cause trash. That doesn't mean I am trash.
No, that's not what I'm saying. But I get your point.
Well, anyway, I'm with you, Zach, on the no. Just stay away from the Middle East. We don't need to mess with them at all.
Yeah, I agree on that too.
But Gary Johnson's an isolationist too. You know, you don't need to vote for Trump
I'm not in front. I don't know anything about Gary Johnson's or his policies whatsoever.
Me either. So I can't speak.
I don't know much about him either. I
will make an effort to inform myself on it now. But I feel like it's going to be. Do you think that Gary Johnson will be? Do you think he has the chance of beating the Hillary and or whoever gets nominated?
Why do you know?
Because
what'd you say?
Well, because of the last 46 years or so of elections in which the Libertarian Party has been involved, they've never gotten more than 5% of the vote. Now, it doesn't stop me from voting Libertarian, but I don't think he has a realistic chance of winning.
But yeah, that's foreign policy is pretty much the primary reason why I'm voting Trump. But if Gary Johnson's also an isolationist, then that's the same thing for me.
It's interesting.
But yeah, that's pretty much how I think we should go to the Middle East.
It's interesting, Sarah, that you mentioned dependence.
I have a question for you. Oh, sorry.
You go ahead.
What do you agree with Trump saying that until we figure out what's going on with the whole terrorist thing on Muslims or whatever the case is, I don't remember his exact words. Do you agree with his policy or his, I know I have a couple of friends that are voting for him and, whatever, they vote Trump. But do you agree with him kicking out Muslims out of the country until then, or not letting them come in? Do you think that's
not letting them come in temporarily? Yes, absolutely. Because most of the immigrants coming from Syria, most of them are male. We don't get many women and children, and the reality is it only takes a handful of people to cause some real significant damage. Look at Paris. Look at what just recently happened in Brussels. I think, until we get the situation sorted out, I don't see anything
wrong. But then for that case, it shouldn't just be Muslims, though. Because the thing is,
why not?
It has nothing to do with Muslims, though. That's the thing, is he's...
Fundamental Islam has nothing to do with Muslims.
It has everything to do with Islam.
No. But do you think it's responsible, though, to kick out an entire I mean, come on.
No,
Like,
wait.
We never said he's
No,
going to kick out entire.
Kick out and not let in are very different things.
well, he said not let in.
Right.
But I also thought I heard kick out, but either way, it's like, do you still think that's responsible? You don't think that's not responsible?
Well, but let's address the issues one at a time. Let's talk about not let in first. That's an easier thing to argue. The issue's clearer. It's less muddied by additional issues because they're not in yet, right? So should we let them in is a better question to argue first. And I would say absolutely not. And I would say the reason not is because they're Muslim, not because they're foreigners.
Because they're Muslim.
Absolutely, because they're Muslim.
Yeah, because they're Muslim. Okay.
If they were virulent racists,
right?
if they were virulent racist, apartheid ruling South Africans, would we have let them? You know, would we be like, come on over here, Sorry that your system of 40 years of individual oppression of masses of people caused them to hate you. Come quickly. We want you over here. No, we wouldn't say that. If they were fucking Nazis, we wouldn't say that. Why do we give Islam a pass? Islam is apartheid against women. It oppresses 50% of the people, considers them chattel, denies them equal rights.
And a great significant of them think that bombings justified. There's a huge significant percentage of them that would be okay with Sharia law. I honestly, because until the ISIS situation dies down, and I think we should let Russia fuck them up. But the reality is that we don't want that to happen because we directly benefit from them. I mean, Israel, they got caught buying oil from ISIS, and where do you think we get fucking oil from? Like we want them to take out Assad. We don't want to fucking fuck that area up.
All right.
We do want to fuck it up. I mean, the problem is we want control over the region. Look, and I think the American foreign policy represents nothing more than just the fucking clusterfuck of different opinions mushing together into nothingness. That's what it is. It's not any particular vision at all. It's just like, well, we got to do something. People are dying. Well, let's do something.
Pretty much.
Oh, we fucked it up more again. Oh, well, that's even worse. We got to do something. Well, let's do something. Oh, shit, we fucked it up even more again. Well, now we really got to do something.
Yeah.
No, you don't have to do anything. Do nothing, for God's sake.
Yeah, we've completely destabilized that entire region for pretty much just control. I mean, it's pretty sad. But I do think for
Sarah, you tell us more about like what do you interview people ever?
Me?
Yeah.
No, but I should start because this is interesting to me.
This is fun as fuck.
I love asking the questions because I just love hearing people's opinions. I mean, versus hearing mine because I'm crazy. I could talk on forever. Like that's what I do. That's.
How long are your
dodging the
videos?
question. Wait, what?
Ask another question.
No, I said that I feel like you're dodging the question by not identifying what your real beliefs are, because you don't want to put them in the political.
You asked my beliefs. What?
We definitely did.
All right, this is a multi-car pileup here. Let's Zach. Now this is one. You remember Zachary? I was saying like I often go like when you go somewhere, I'm gone the same place. We were in totally different directions. So I have no idea where that came from. So what I wanted to ask about was my next question for you was two things. One, what you thought you heard. You asked more questions then. But number two, the question I have is how long are your average videos?
How are my average?
How long are your average videos? How many minutes?
Oh, I've only posted like a few 10-second videos from my Snapchat. I haven't actually made a video yet, but I'm getting there.
You don't have to do anything to do it.
Those 10-second videos, they were like spur of the moment. I mean, I was on a rant. Okay, I have a Snapchat. You know what Snapchat is. Eric, right?
I'm familiar with it. I've never used it or seen it, but I'm familiar with it. I know what it does. I know it's
Yeah, it's
trick or
like
whatever.
yeah, it's a social thing where you post 10-second videos, blah blah blah. I rant a lot on there, so what I feel passionately about, I speak on. And then if I feel like it's good enough to put onto YouTube, I mean, I'll in that moment I would have probably recorded it on my digital camera, but since now I don't really I have one, but it's not a good quality one, and I kind of want to wait till I get like a better, yeah, you know. But until then, I just basically use my phone. And these are like 10-second. I mean, if you go on my channel, you'll literally see like six, maybe 12, like 10-second little videos about Trump and just my opinion on just everything of what's going on. Like people's, crazy sayings and, he's racist. And last time I checked, I don't think he said anything close to, racism of any sort. I mean, he said
You
that the
got
Mexicans,
close.
if anything, he
You got
was talking
close.
about the Mexicans that crossed the border illegally. He was talking about those Mexicans in specific, those Hispanic
That's
people
not a race.
that
Mexican is not a race. It's a
illegally.
nationality.
The way people talk about, like him being racist, anyone of that matter, it doesn't matter. These are people that watch maybe like 5 seconds of a video and then are straight away to the comments like, oh, they hear one thing someone says and they're so quick to write that person off, and then so it's just that kind of thing. So I basically just kind of spoke on that.
I have this one video where I interview this Mexican Trump supporter, right? And
Oh,
I keep waiting for the stream of comments to come, and nobody says a goddamn thing about it. I've had like one Trump supporter say like God bless you, good job,
right, yeah.
but that's it. Nobody really. It got a fair number of views, but people don't know quite what to make of it because I'm not
No.
exactly advocating. I'm just asking him to explain his position. I'm
Yeah,
not.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm being neutral
yeah.
about it. I'm not being like, how could you possibly support Trump? Like I think most people
Right.
would think or
And that's what
whatever.
most people would expect. That's what most people would expect. And when I made those videos, I've had, I mean, some family members like they're really against Trump. I mean, my dad, like, he's for Bernie Sanders, and he's all like, "Oh, Trump. So do you support?" I'm like, I don't support him, but I'm not against him. If anything, I respect the fact that he speaks of what's going on in this country, and I think that's what people are so, like they're so supportive of him, about like they're so. I think we've reached a point where people are tired of lying politicians and the going around the bush. So I think the thing about Trump is he says it how it is, and that's what people respect most about him. Whether I mean, he might be a little off his rocker, but we can respect he's a good businessman. We can respect that he's
Yeah.
a funny personality. He's a TV personality. But do I think he's fit to be president? No. But that's not saying I don't dislike him. I don't, so I keep a very objective point of view, and I think a lot of people nowadays they either see that or they don't. So, but it's entertaining nonetheless. I mean, I can have a good laugh, and I do. I
Yeah, it's
really do.
fun. It's fun.
You know?
Trump's a fun candidate. Um,
Yes.
what other sort of questions would you ask if you were interviewing somebody, Sarah?
Well, on what topic?
Well, what topic would you like to ask questions about? You could ask. Let's say I gave you three general categories: science and medicine, or um, sporting events, or uh,
Do you watch? Here's a question for the both of you. Do you watch? Do you watch a lot of TV, or do you watch any at all? Do you have a TV?
I don't I have not watched much TV in the past
Why?
4 months or so. Mostly because I've just been busy. But
Busy.
there are with school and whatnot. But there are TV shows I enjoy. But why do you ask? Is there some particular you want to ask about?
No. Just curious, because I feel like
I
people
to chime in, I don't watch TV at all right now. I have
that.
TVs, but I have nothing bringing TV into my home, right? So it's like I've got no. I
Okay.
used, and the reason for me actually is because I decided when my wife ex-wife moved out, that I would cancel the direct TV and instead get the most expensive internet I could afford. So for me,
That's smart. Yeah.
it seemed like
Mm-hmm.
it was a way to justify to myself getting the most expensive kind of internet was I can do without the DirecTV. I only watch it
Yeah.
when I'm in that mood, and when I am in that mood, I do miss TV. When I want to lie down on the
Right.
couch and just like be crashy and just watch old episodes of Friends or some fucking cartoon or something like that, or local news. Local
Right.
news always makes me feel peaceful. You know, just hearing the local news people go, and today a penguin got loose from the neighbor's house. You know, and I was like, ah, this is so banal. It's relaxing because
Right.
it's so banal.
Well, another thing too, I don't have a TV in my room, so that's a lot of it too. But it's
Yeah.
the shows that I do like are mostly like I like True Detective a lot. The first season of that's really good. Game of Thrones is really good.
Game of Thrones. Okay, me too. Okay.
But those are things I keep up with online, and so
Hmm.
aside from like, there's no real shows that air on my television that I even bother,
Do you
you
guys
know,
watch
Right.
Naruto
putting
Shippuden?
my attention.
Either you guys watch
What
Naruto?
did you say?
Do either of you guys watch Naruto?
Uh, I've watched the original series, but I haven't watched Shippuden yet. But I've heard it's so good. I know some like major plot points in it that are bad, fucking ass too.
I've watched every single goddamn episode of that shit, from the first thing all the way through Shippuden. Except I'm building up. I've got some built up to watch the end section here. We're getting very close to the end. You know, it's like I don't know, 400 and some episodes. Uh, and
I haven't heard of it.
it's
You haven't heard of it?
well the kid Naruto one. The first section is the spiky haired blonde kid. It's like a Japanese anime, right? And they're ninjas.
Oh, okay. Now, okay.
They're
Yeah, there's a
ninjas and they
big
go pew
fascination
pew
with those
pew
shows going.
like that. Then they
Itachi. When I heard about the plotline of Itachi in Shippuden, I was blown away. That alone made me want to watch it.
wow, and they do shit like this, you know. Kage no Bushinjutsu.
Mhm.
Yeah. Anyway,
What about Delilah? What is she into? Like, what is she?
well, she right now she's into socializing primarily, and
Okay.
she had just got a car not very long ago, maybe
Mhm.
maybe a month ago or 2 months ago, and basically with Candace gone, and I'm not a big believer in authority. She
Mhm.
just is like off and rolling and doing shit all the time, and bring people here too because I don't care if people come over really, as long as um, I
You
don't
don't have to
First.
be the police.
I don't want to if I'm not sleeping. I don't care if people are here really because they're in there and I'm out here anyway, and I never go in there anyway. Basically, it's a
Oh wow,
Delilah's
so you're pretty
house, you
laid
know.
back.
I mean, she, she she's an ENTP. There's no controlling her.
That's true.
There isn't. I've learned this a
I
long
would know.
time ago.
I would know because I was. Well, the thing is, I mean, yeah, I have this one male ENTP friend, but he's kind of like he's. I mean, he's 18. I mean, I think he's at that stage where, like, I think he's still trying to figure out what to do. I feel like ENTPs, why do we make up like just 3%, whatever, 6% of the population? Why are there so few? I wonder like why I wonder where that really comes from. Like
It's
what makes
it's
up an
all the NTs.
ENTP?
It's all the NTs. All four NTs combined make up. They should be 25% if it were spread evenly, but they make up
Spready. Okay.
if they were spread evenly. But instead, it's only 10%. So,
Why do you think that is?
well, I mean, I think if I were to give a answer that was somewhat satisfying, it would be that the system requires the functions to be executed in differing proportions. So
Mm-hmm.
the disrupt function is needed in very small amount. A very little bit of disruption is needed, and
Right.
really a very little bit of um, rendering new rendering new ideas is needed, at least historically, right? Like evolutionarily,
Yeah.
like way back in the day, when we weren't on computers all the time, typing shit. Idea people, thinkers, weren't that necessary. Most of the shit people had to do was
Mhm.
like hauling potatoes and stuff, you know. And
Mhm.
I don't know, old fashioned
Yeah.
stuff.
No.
So
Yeah. Do you
putting
also think
putting
that
on
it has
Civil
to
War
do?
reenactments. That's what people used to do in the olden days.
Right.
I'm so, what did you say? I'm
I'm
sorry.
also wondering, Zach, were you homeschooled at all by any chance? Did you ever go to like private school or?
I went to public school until I was 16. I dropped out and got a GED and then went to college.
Oh wow, okay.
Why
I
do you
wonder what
ask?
that has to do with why. What are you doing right now? You're in school now, right?
Yeah, yeah, I go to the local college.
What are you studying?
I was studying psychology, and then
No way, me too.
my psychology
That is
professor
that
died on
every.
me, and now I'm considering changing it.
That is so funny. That's me too. But you know what's funny is
Your
like,
professor died too. I think you missed that part. His professor died. That's why he's changing. The guy who he was like inspired by or whatever at the college to do psychology.
He was kind of like, I was still on the fence about psychology, and he was like, because the parts I'm interested in are kind of considered philosophy now. They're not exactly scientific anymore, like psychoanalysis. And he was just kind of like, I mean, he was humanist as fuck, and he was just like, no, no, you're good. You just got to keep going. Like you'll be good. Here's what you got to do. And now
right,
that I'm kind of free, so to speak, not to say he was imprisoning me, but he was a really like big influence there.
right.
But now I'm considering. I think I'm gonna major in philosophy and then take that and try to get into law school. I think that's what I'm gonna do.
Wow, that's kind of how, well, more like law school for me, but that's insane. Because that's kind of the same thing. Wait, why law school though? Because you're good. You're good with like, what is it, logical, rational, like discussions, and like, are you like a truther too? Like, are you pro like, justice or what?
Um, I well, I'm really interested in philosophy and I want to major in that. And a friend enlightened me that that a lot of philosophy majors go into law. It's one of the most popular degrees actually in law, and I didn't know that. But there would also be an avenue that if I wanted to go into politics later down my life, law is a really good path to go into to get into that.
I
And I feel
agree.
like I would just work well in that environment. I feel like it'd be a nice environment for me to be comfortable in once you identify the paradigm of law and you're familiar with all the argumentation and I feel like I would work well in it.
I find the same thing with me too, hey, but I think it's like the process of getting there that kind of like turns me off for it because it's like I'm very specific and like what I want out of a certain thing. But then to me, like what's psychology? Like, yeah, it's more like the ideology of it. But like just all the little things that like go around that I don't want to like I'm not interested in learning all the I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, but that is so funny because it's like the
That
same thing with
that's
law
it.
school and everything.
That's
It's
any
an it's
dominant.
second nature for me to like be in all of that. Like even with arguments, I don't like getting in arguments with people. I don't even like, but I don't avoid it. Like I'm not a confrontational person, but if it has to happen and like something needs to be set straight, you better believe I'm gonna set it straight.
I
I've
believe
been
it.
told by family members, parents, friends, you should be in law school. You should do this. Oh, you're very funny. Yes, I know I'm funny. Thank you. But thank you for that. But it's like, I don't, people, some people think, and I don't know if you get this too. I think you probably both have maybe, I don't know. But people will literally tell me, like, as if I don't know these qualities about myself. Like, yes, I know I can be argumentative. Like, do I do it purposely? No. Do I like purposely set out to instigate certain things? No. Like, what fun is that? It happens on a natural, organic, sort of way. Like, but
It's
I don't
true.
know.
It's
People are,
true. I don't feel as though I plan shit. I bet you Zachary
yeah.
probably has a better sense of what's going to happen than we do. I think that there's
I
a
wouldn't consider myself argumentative. I would consider myself an inquirer, and those inquiries get me into arguments because
Yeah.
because a lot of people don't like to have their ideas set out and then examined, and
Nope.
that's
They sure
usually
don't.
what defense with that.
Oh, the second you break down those walls, I mean, at least, or you try to ask about them, it's the walls go up, defense, the ad hominem attacks start spewing, and it's just like, nah, 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 nah. Well, why do you look like this? I mean, what does that have to do with anything? Are you know? And that's when what I'm learning to do now is I'm learning to actually choose my battles wisely with some people. Because sometimes when it gets too far, even if I know I'm right, I know that necessarily I don't always have to go proving that. And it's not about a pride thing with me. It's not about I have to be right. And that's what a lot of, I think, people like I don't know, I can be easily misunderstood sometimes in that aspect where like they think it's about, Sarah, you always want to be right. No, I don't. Like, I don't need to. If I am right in the moment, then I'm right. And, a lot of the things I speak about already have some kind of factual evidence to it. It's not me. Like, you can tell, I mean, the kind of person I am is obviously like if I'm speaking or giving my personal opinion about something, I guess to some people now I have to kind of, ease into that because some people just don't understand the difference between a fact and an opinion. But
Well,
when it comes to
here's the
Sarah,
other
you're trying to
thing,
be right,
Sarah.
or
Here's the thing that the extroverted intuitor in general is going to run into is when we start talking about a given idea, we
yeah,
want to cover all the various little forks and sub rivers and stuff that come off of that to make sure that our core idea is conveyed clearly in multiple ways from multiple angles so that it can be understood
yes,
clearly. However, we have to remember, and this is why I would strongly suggest start a YouTube channel and don't worry about your goddamn equipment at all. It doesn't matter. First of all,
Your video camera right now seems fine enough.
I guarantee you, I can guarantee you $1 million that you'll be way more successful than me right away.
why?
Well, not necessarily for all the best reasons you're necessarily gonna like, but that's why. You know what I mean? Because like I have
No, wait,
seen
what do you?
because
Why is he laughing?
attractive
Wait,
people because listen, attractive young people are get like women attractive women do much better than old men. You know, I mean, it's not like it doesn't mean that I think attractive young women are necessarily better at making videos. I'm just saying attractive young women are better at attracting audiences because they're attractive, right? They attract things. When you see, you'll notice, you're not going to see a whole lot of my thumbnails of me, like me and my face, looking as wrinkly as possible, like that. Because people are not going to want to click that, right? They're not going to say, I want to see that guy. I want to see more of him.
I would.
Well, maybe you would.
But to me, it's not all about looks, though. See, I'm one of those people that's not all about materialistic crap. And you know what? To all the people watching out there, hi, hello.
To who?
I don't know what to say to you. So thanks for watching. Talking with famous people. So there you go. I mean, this is a real discussion. This is not, let's, try to make things perfect or more like, you're gonna have to go to LA for that, man. Get into the entertainment and figure that all out. Like, this is a raw discussion, like that's what I love about this. And, it sucks that like today you have to be attractive.
The most amazing thing about it is 1/3 of this discussion is actually happening here in Los Angeles. That's true.
Yeah, that's what I thought was funny.
I've managed to build a little enclave of authenticity within this
Really?
hellhole of publicity or something. You know what? Most people in Los Angeles have nothing to do with the internet industry, right?
Wait, what did you say, Sarah?
Sorry, I thought there was a bug. Where are you? No, don't answer that. Don't answer that.
I already told you. I just told you. I'm in Los Angeles.
Yeah, not you. Well, we know that, but Zach's not.
Oh, right. Okay.
Where would you guess I'm from?
The South.
Why? Because I'm voting for Trump.
No way. Your accent, man. You're voting for Trump. It's the accent.
I'm voting for Trump.
He can turn it on and get real hardcore with it too when he wants to.
I used to live in North Carolina.
I turn on whenever. I mean, I don't mind it. My girl, that's why.
I can do a southern
I,
accent. Now listen, y'all.
Let's hear
All right.
it.
Well, would you look at this? Would you look at this? This is absolutely
Wait,
amazing.
hey, got the Bojangles.
Oh my goodness. This is so big. There's this guy named Huell Hauser. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. He's a California guy. He's dead now. He made this show called
Man.
California's Gold on California Public Radio. He made like hundreds of episodes of it. And all he fucking did, he was from Tennessee originally. All he did, he went to places and he'd say this. Well, would you look at this? This is so big. Have you ever seen anything so big? Oh my goodness. This is truly part of California's gold. This is fucking every episode, right? That's all he do. And like, there's one episode we went to a lake, and there's a bunch of little flies in the sand next to it. He literally walks into the fucking flies and he's like, well, would you look at this? Would you look at this? Would you look at these flies? Would you look at them? He did it like 4 times, right? And I had it at the time. I had DirecTV. I had DVR. I fucking rewound that shit and listened to it like 15 times in a row. The most hilarious thing I've ever heard. He's looking at little flies. This guy Huell Hauser.
That's all. Everyone around here sounds like that, man. And I'm surprised you were able to identify that, Sarah.
I'm very observant. In case you haven't
Because a lot of people tell me that I don't have the accent at all.
Oh,
I mean, I
yeah.
can break it out in time, but I'm sure the subtleties come out here and there. I mean, you grow
Here
up
and
in this
there.
area.
The here and there. I mean, yeah.
I mean, I'm talking like this on purpose right now.
But I mean, but if you do it, it's really natural sounding though. It's not constructed at all.
Yeah.
Now, Sarah, I'm gonna guess where you're from, okay? Because first of all, I'm gonna guess you're an American, not a Canadian, like our last guest, who I didn't even consider the possibility he wasn't American until he said he was Canadian. But anyway, I'm gonna assume you're American. I'm gonna say Texas.
No way.
Michigan.
No.
I don't know why Michigan came to mind.
Tallahassee.
Don't know why either.
Tallahassee, Florida.
Keep on. You'll never guess it. You'll never. Well, here's the thing. Let me just quick background. I'm from around. Silence.
Nice place.
No, but okay, so yeah, I'm an American citizen, but here's the thing. I'm not from any particular state. I've lived and I've traveled all over the world. I've lived overseas most of my life. So here's the thing. I'm a South African. I was born in South Africa, so I'm a South African citizen as well, but I'm also a US citizen. But my family's lived and traveled. We've lived in, you know where Indonesia is?
It's
A little
somewhere.
history.
It's somewhere down there.
That's right, below the equator. So I've lived there for most of my life, and not to say that before then I haven't been to the States, but
Indonesia.
you know, it was
That's Islamic, right?
what?
That's an Islamic country, right? Indonesia.
I mean,
it's predominantly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like Saudi Arabia, but isn't the majority population Muslim?
So I've lived around Muslims. I've lived around Muslims like most of my life. A big chunk of my life was spent there. And, after those 9 years, and before then, I lived in South Africa, and then I've lived in, some parts of Europe. So I've been, around. So when people ask me where I'm from, I don't know how to answer that. So I kind of just...
Where are you currently right now?
I'm not going to tell you on here. Come
on.
on.
Can you give us...
There's creeps.
Can you give us a hemisphere? I mean, look, we're not trying to find you. We just we just thought it was interesting since we were talking about locations.
Let's say the West Coast, like Midwest.
West Coast to Midwest. Okay. Because you have a flat American accent, which suggests to me at least your parents are American. Look,
Yes.
again, I can't even bother to click your name to find out that you already had YouTube videos, before you showed up. I should have done that. I feel like about that. I certainly am not going to stalk anybody, right? I just not a stalker.
Go ahead.
I'm fully self-absorbed. I'm the most self-absorbed person you'll ever meet. I have no time for stalking people. Okay. Well,
I've gotten that question a lot though, because because how's a black girl supposed to? First of all, here's one thing: I don't think you've ever met a black girl, or even I don't know. Is it meeting? Because we're not really meeting in person, but it's a meeting.
it's go to meeting. We're not. So
It's in the name.
yeah,
Eric's meeting.
That's the only, yeah, I don't know. I think I'm probably gonna be, if not one of the only black girls you'll ever meet. That's kind of like conservative black female.
I don't know. I really don't know any black girls at all.
I was seeing most of them. I don't know.
I think there's a greater.
Everyone's different. So
I think there's a greater percentage of the black population, and really all the minorities who are conservative. But I think the media depicts it otherwise. That's how I personally feel.
yeah,
About it.
we did.
There just aren't that many black people in Southern California. It's a lot of Mexicans, a lot of Asians, and a scattering of some white people, enclaves here and there. Really, that's basically Southern California. There are black people, but they're down in like south central area, and
Yeah.
it's not very nice down there. I don't really go there. I don't have any cause to go to Compton, Although I did go to Compton to get my dog. I went to Compton to get my dog. Compton.
What?
I think I've like been to Compton once. I think it was like just a drive through to see like what it was like. Because I think I went to Cali. Well, I had family actually in California. I don't think they live there anymore. No, they don't. They did used to live in San Jose though. Well, they don't live there anymore. But
Now this
No,
dog
California,
right here.
Los Angeles, great place. A lot of crazy people though, but it's a great place.
Compton native right here. This dog, we got this dog from Compton Avenue. I don't know if it was actually the city of Compton, but it was near. Oh, if you just chill, I'll put you down more gently than that. Anyway, that dog's from Compton. That's why it's named Compton. Okay, well, guys, I think we need to not stop right this second, but wrap it up in about 5 minutes because this is a long video
right.
already. And let's see, what are we at? We're pushing an hour. Okay. So what I would like to do in the last we have 7 minutes left because we have 53 minutes. So I want to say, what are a couple of subjects that you would like to have touched upon, but we didn't talk about tonight? Sarah?
I don't have any.
Okay, I'll have another question for you then. What is an interesting fact that you've learned within the last 6 months that you suspect at least 25% of the people watching will not have heard before?
Will not have heard before until now.
So something that you learned, you're like, oh, I had no idea. That's really interesting. Something like that you've encountered in the last 6 months.
I think I've learned that even though there are few ENTPs out there, or you just let alone like people that are within our, whatever, 4-letter, whatever, frame, what is it, Myers-Briggs thing. I think a lot of us are more similar in ways that we didn't really know.
Yeah.
Or just, I guess that a lot of us are actually quite informed just on things in general, that we can have these kind of discussions regardless of age range. See, I didn't really know that. Well, not that I didn't know that, but I haven't really, come across a lot of different people that, in one room, in one sitting, that we could all talk about, just such a different like range of topics and get into depth about certain things, and then keep it light on some levels. I wasn't really aware that, and we're kind of all spread out all over the
As
place.
people get older, they become less interested in free ranging conversations and become more pragmatic in their
Hmm.
communications in general. So they tend to want their communications to serve some sort of purpose. For me,
Right.
I like free ranging conversations anyway. I like this sort of stuff, which is something
Yeah.
that I find usually I get takers from younger people by a couple decades than me. So it's like your guys' age demographic is a demographic that's willing to talk to me because you're still somewhat adventurous. You're like, well, what's the harm? Why don't I just talk to this random dude? And you also think
And
there's
it's a
some
way we learn from each other too. So,
right. Well,
it's educational in a way.
that's the thing is like you still think there's a point in discourse that's trying to move forward with ideas or disrupt existing ideas, and you will remain that way, Sarah, for your whole life because if you're leading with NE, then you don't go through that, and you kind of stay. They always say ENTPs stay childlike, and I very recently had my
I have
new.
a very childlike curiosity.
I had my newest business partner. I was talking to her before we inked the deal, and this woman said to me, "You're like a big kid." And I'm like, yeah, I hear that sometimes. Anyway, let's. Yeah, the thing is, sometimes it lulls them into some false notions that I have to disabuse them of at a certain point. Because
Right, yeah.
I can become very
Oh, you want me
adult.
to? Uh, do you want me to send that? How should I send that audio file to you? By the way, we can talk that
Oh,
after
yeah,
we
we
end
can
the
talk. Yeah,
recording.
yeah,
Actually,
thank you for reminding me about that. Okay, so let's see. There is how many minutes, seconds left? We have 3 minutes left. Zachary, do you have any interesting facts or notions that you came across recently that you'd like to share that people might find interesting?
interesting facts or
Well,
notions.
let me give. Well, I should have given one first, as maybe as an example. But who cares? However you interpret it is fine. But like there was this thing I learned about the boxes that Saran wrap come in. That
Mm.
if you like turn them a certain way, and they've got these little like wing things, and it's for the purpose of it's like a holder. You can set up like a little stand, and then you put the Saran wrap in there, and you pull it, and so it's not just sitting in the box, right? That's how it's supposed to use it. It's like you're supposed to do that like a tape dispenser that sits on a roll thing, right? But I had
Mm.
never I've used that saran wrap my whole life. I never knew that you're supposed to do that with the box.
The
Are you guys googling it? Are you guys both googling it?
No,
no, I was googling the fact
I'm
that I
getting this for
remember,
Snapchat.
but I
Wait, Eric,
couldn't.
Eric, how did you know that we were doing something? How'd you know?
I
Well,
can
you probably hear me
see the
typing.
light on your faces from your devices.
Well,
Oh,
I was googling something, but I was fact checking to make sure what I was about to say wasn't full of shit. Um, I'm pretty sure brass doorknobs in the Zeta will clean themselves, disinfect themselves on their own after left for a while. And I was fact checking to make sure that's right. And from the initial Google search, it may not be.
Well,
So I don't
I mean,
know.
I know silver is naturally disinfecting.
I thought it was brass. It might be bronze.
Could be brass, could be bronze, could be
could be brass,
brown,
right? Could be brass.
could be brown, could be brr. What else starts with
Yeah,
brr?
they and
Bread.
silverware.
Could be
Yeah, so
bread.
brass.
Could be bread doorknobs.
They do. It's called the oligodynamic effect.
Hey, can you
Oligodynamic.
guys tell who I'm looking at? Like which one of you I'm looking at?
No,
Mm-mm.
you're looking at the keyboards.
I'm looking at the keyboards. What
Yeah, the
keyboards?
keyboard.
Huh. See,
Well, I mean, are you looking directly into the lens? Like,
no, I'm saying when I'm looking like normally in conversation, you guys, I bet you do it. You probably do it a little bit less, but I'm attentive to how much eye contact I give each person, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
But you guys probably can't tell who I'm looking at right now.
Yeah.
You can't tell that I'm
Yeah, I
looking at
can't.
Sarah now,
Yes.
and now I'm looking at
Wait.
Zach, and now I'm looking at Sarah. They can't tell, you know.